Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope that you are all doing well. Welcome to online class. What is that we are going to discuss the topic? Indian election system, class 8th, English medium. Children, before going to discuss that Indian election system, we have to know the structure of Indian democracy. See here, children, India is known as the largest democracy in the world. You know what is the reason for this? Let us see what are the reasons why India is called the largest democracy in the world. You see that we all know that recently elections were held in 2019. You know that in India, for once in 5 years, general elections are being held. You see here in 2019, nearly 900 million people have registered as voters. You see that 66% people during 2014 they have casted their votes. Nearly you see that 2354 political parties have been registered in our country, and you see that 11 million officials who have worked in elections for carrying out different responsibilities, and you see that 1 million polling stations have been established throughout country for conducting elections, and finally 2.3 million electronic voting machines were used in these elections. So with this what we can conclude here, India is known as the largest democracy in the world. That means that large number of people are participating in election process of our country. You know, children, what is democracy actually here? The meaning of the word democracy. Do you know that who used to rule our country before independence? Britishers. If you go through the history of our country, in ancient times, kings used to rule our country, isn't it? Kings used to rule our country. But how they used to get power? Through the process of hereditary manner. That means they used to get the power from their forefathers. But now, is there that system? No. So who have given the power here to elect their leaders? People. So the system of government where the people have the right to choose or elect their representatives is what called democracy. You see here, you go through that recently held elections in 2018. You see that nearly 7 phases. The elections were held in 7 phases from the date 11th April 2019 up to 7th phase May 17th. So with this what we can understand here, that India is the largest democracy in the world. So the counting date also given 23rd May 2019. So because of the huge participation of the people, that election could not be conducted in one phase. It's not possible, isn't it? Such a huge big country, big democratic country, large democratic country, and the largest democratic country. So because of that reason, 7 phases. You see that in our country, in order to conduct elections for parliament, we need to elect nearly how many representatives? We need to elect 543. Total we have 545 in Lok Sabha, and 2 are elected, nominated by Rashtrapati or President of India, who are called Anglo-Indians. Remaining 543 members have been elected from the different states. So that's why it's known as the largest democracy in the world. Okay, children, before going to know how the elections are held in our country, we have to understand what is democracy. You see that here, you can see The popular controls and political equality we find in democracy. As we discussed, people are the source for power. Here you see that the first point, what is it actually called? A representative government. Democracy is called a representative government. Here you see that here we find here the elections, clean elections are held here, inclusive suffrage, that means right to vote in elections, and free political parties. Parties have been given freedom here to establish and to run their political parties, and elected government. That means the government is elected by the people. That's why a famous definition given by the former president of America, Abraham Lincoln. Democracy is a form of government works for, by the people, of the people, and for the people. It's a very simple definition given by former president of America. You see that another important aspect, you see that second one here. What is it? Fundamental rights. Second one, fundamental rights. So we see that we can enjoy fundamental rights in democracy. Access to justice, people can approach courts for justice and all, and civil liberties, that means freedom. People have given freedom. You know that children, that we don't have freedom before independence, isn't it? During the time of British rule. So why did we fight for Indian independence? Because to establish our kind of government, so which can respect the people rights and liberties. And third one is what we find here, social rights and equality. So democracy is based on the principle of equality, social equality. That means there would be no injustice, or we find here disparities basing on caste, creed, religion, gender, region should be followed here. Okay, so these are all what actually barriers of democracy. So democracy is based on social equality. Next thing is what we find here, checks on the government. What do you mean by checks on the government here? That governments are controlled in different mechanisms through following different mechanisms. Like you find media, we have media, press, news channels, newspapers, isn't it? They can criticize the government. They have the right to criticize the government if they are not doing properly administration. Next you see that we have judicial independence, that we have Supreme Court, High Court, different levels of courts we have. They are also given independence or supreme authority, so they can work without the influence of political parties independently. And we find here third one, effective parliament, that we have no parliament. In parliament, not only the government, ruling government members, we find the opposition party and other members may also question the government if they are not properly ruling. Okay, next thing is what we find, the fourth one, impartial administration. We find here the administration should be taken place impartially here. This is what we find here, the fourth one. Here how it can be done here, absence of corruption. There would be no possibility of corruption here because there would be a lot of controls on the government. And we find periodical enforcement, periodic table enforcements here, enforcement for different systems against the government, checks we find here. Next, the last one is what we find, participatory engagement. Here the most important thing is what in democracy, participation, civil society participation, that means the common man, large number of people in the society. And next thing is what we find, electoral participation, that means voters have to participate here in elections. And next thing is what we find, direct democracy, so electing the leaders directly through the process of voting, or they may be removed from the people, voters, if they are not doing well. And finally, local democracy, that means the village panchayats. In our country we have no because India is the largest country with different large number of villages are existing, nearly about 6 lakh villages, isn't it? Next, you see children here, in our country, what is the body or independent body which takes the responsibility of conducting elections, that is the ECI. What is the full form of ECI? Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India, which is an independent body, independent authority according to our constitution, which has given full rights to carry forward the responsibilities of conducting elections in a smooth and fair manner. You see here that according to what the elections have been held in our country. So we have a written book, a written constitution, which is actually called a constitution. So according to which the elections are held in our country, which is known as the largest written constitution in the world. So you see that here this constitution has been adopted in the year 1949, November 26, which has nearly about 395 articles, 12 schedules, and even it was made some amendments. Some changes have been made for this constitution, nearly about more than 100. You see that Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, who's actually taking the blessings of this constitution of India. Why? Because all the rulers of our country, from the Prime Minister, even the head of our country, President of India, and the sub-punch of our village also have to follow the rules and regulations which have been stipulated in our constitution. You see that according to this, what is that we need to choose a leader or elect a leader? We need right to vote. This is the most important right which is given by our constitution. Before 1988, the people who have completed 21 years have been given right to vote, but an amendment was made in 1988, according to which 63rd amendment, constitutional amendment, that as we discussed, change. The age has been reduced from 21 to 18, and this is what the right included in Article 326, which is known as universal franchise. Do you know, children, what is the meaning of franchise? Right. The meaning of the word franchise is right. So here that everyone has given right to vote according to our constitution, Article 326. Okay, now we see that who's that body we discussed that takes the responsibility of conducting elections in our country for different levels of governments. As we know that we have different levels of governments in our country: central government, state government, and in village level, village panchayat. Here we have an independent body, independent authority which has been established according to constitution, which is known as the Election Commission of India, or ECI. So which is established according to the constitution, part 15, article 324, which has what actually these things describe about the powers and functions of the Election Commission of India. Where is the headquarters of this Election Commission of India is located? You know? Yeah, very good. It's our capital city, New Delhi. Capital city. Okay. So the Election Commission of India, which has been formed on 25th January 1950, 25th January. Because of that reason, we celebrate what actually National Voters Day on January 26th. Because of what reason? That Election Commission was formed on 25th January 1950. So because of that reason, every year we celebrate National Voters Day on 25th January. Okay, children. Now we see here, how does this body or authority carry forward its functions or responsibilities. So we see that we have different levels of hierarchy manner. In a hierarchy manner, we have different levels of officers to carry forward this functions of elections, because we are the largest democracy. You see that the higher authority we find here, Election Commission of India, ECI. So under its control we find Chief Electoral Officer, CEO. So next, under his control, DEO, district election officer. Next he find under his control ERO, so electoral registration officer. Under his control, AERO, assistant electoral registration officer. And next, under his control, supervisor. And finally, at booth level, you see children, in order to conduct elections, election commission divides constitutions in different booths, that because everyone cannot go and cast their vote into different places. So in their village level, they make some booths. So for that, booth level officer, BLO, also there. So this is what the structure or hierarchy structure of the officers who can carry forward this function. You see that here, the highest level of ECI or the Election Commission of India, which functions here, 3 members commission. The chief is what actually called Chief Election Commissioner. So other than Chief Election Commissioner, we have some other commissioners. Present, we see that the present election commissioner, Chief Election Commissioner, what is his name? Sri Sushil Chandra, Chief Election Commissioner. And other members, what they are, who are they? Shri Rajiv Kumar and Shri Anup Chandra Pandey. So these were actually the 3 commissioner, tri-commission election commission, which is functioning here from 1989 onwards. That means 3 members together take the decisions regarding the elections which have to be held in our country. Okay, now we see that who are the people maybe have the eligibility, who can be recruited as Chief Election Commissioner and other members. What are their qualifications? First, we see that they must be ICS employees, that means Indian civil servants, that who are mostly recruited through civil services, IAS officers. And the tenure means the time of duration. It is about 6 years or 65 years, whichever earlier they complete here. So the term 65 years retirement term, or they may be before retirement, they may be continue only about 6 years. Okay, now we see that they may be even removed from their office. That means if they are not doing their job properly, through the parliament only. The parliament is the only authority which has the right to remove them from their service with the majority of 2/3. It's a that what we can say that members should support 2/3. It's a hard thing to remove them. It's not an easy thing for them. Okay, so this is a supreme authority, independent authority, which has to carry forward the elections without making any partiality, in a free and fair manner. That's why they have given independent authority and supreme authority. Okay, now we see what are the responsibilities and what are the duties of this ECI or Election Commission of India. You see that children here one by one. The first one you see here, you can find here the first one is what here, delimitation of constitutions. You see children, in order to conduct elections in our country, that ECI or Election Commission of India, it divides basing on the population of our country, it divides the constitutions, so from which the voters can cast their vote and elect their representative, who's called MP or member of parliament for parliament. Okay, second thing is what we find, they have to prepare the electoral rolls. Electoral rolls are what actually they are registered voters, those who have registered after, we have discussed now, who are they? Those who have completed 18 years of age, they can be eligible to become the voters. So their list of voters is what actually called electoral rolls. Okay, next thing is what we find here, third one, revisiting the electoral rolls. So what do you mean by this one? You find some of the voters have to be removed from the list because of some of them maybe died, and some may be shifted to some other place. So due to that reason, every time the modifications has to be done. So this is what we find revisiting the electoral rolls. Okay, third one. And fourth one is what actually we find arrangements for the conduct of elections. After making this is what we can say that preparatory first three things are what actually preparatory actions, and we find for conducting elections. Next, fourth one is what actually arrangement of elections for conducting elections in different parts of India. And fifth one is what we find here, recognizing and assigning symbols to political parties who are participating in elections. As we discussed, we have different political parties, different members may contest in elections. So how the people can elect them? They must be having some symbols. They have been given some symbols which have been given only by the Election Commission of India. Okay, and sixth one is what we find, notification of elections schedule. That is what we find before conducting elections. Election Commission of India has to give a notification for conducting elections for different levels of governments. So for example, if we take parliament elections, so they have to use the schedule means time process, nomination time, and when the candidates have to come and go for nomination and all. So these have to be followed in a time schedule. Okay, and next thing is what we find, seventh one we find here, receiving the nominations from the candidates. Receiving the nominates means the people, the candidates who are contesting in elections, they have to what actually submit an application or nomination application to concerned authority. We have no different levels of authorities, so they will receive the what we find nominations from the candidates. And next thing is what we find, appointment of election missionary. So in order to carry forward these elections in a smooth manner, they should have a mechanism. So for that reason, they appoint some officers and missionary and all for carrying forward this election. And finally, the last one is what we find, appointment of inquiry officers. What if there are any irregularities? That means if there are elections have been not conducted, if they have found some kind of irregularities and they have been not conducted in a smooth manner. So in order to inquire that, they will recruit some officers also. Okay, these are what the responsibilities of Election Commission of India. Now we go through that the formation of Election Commission in our Andhra Pradesh and as well as in Telangana. So they have been formed in the year 1994 for both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And for Andhra Pradesh recently, because of the bifurcation of the state, we have a separate election commission for Andhra Pradesh which has been formulated on 31st January 2016. Okay, now we see, children, what are the different types of elections have been held by this Election Commission of India. We see that in our country we have two kinds of elections we can find here. One is what actually called direct election, the other one indirect election. So what are the elections come under direct election? You see here, the elections which are held for Lok Sabha for 5 years, once for 5 years, which is known as what actually lower house of parliament. As we discussed now, 543 Lok Sabha seats we have in our lower house, which is also called lower house or Lok Sabha. In parliament we have two houses, upper house and lower house. Okay, second thing is what we find here, which is also known as temporary house, Lok Sabha, because after 5 years all the members have to resign for their job. That means they will lose their authority as a member of parliament. Again, if they want to become the member, they should have to contest in elections. Next, you see that direct, you find the second one is what upper house. Upper house is what actually called Rajya Sabha. We have in Rajya Sabha nearly about 250 members are there, but out of 250, we find 12 members are appointed by Rashtrapati, and remaining for how many members their elections have been held? Only 238, and the tenure of the job is what actually nearly about 6 years, and this is known as a permanent house. You know children, why it is known as permanent house? Not like Lok Sabha, all the members need not to resign for their job. Only we find about one third members only, they will resign for every 6 years from their job, and that means there may be replaced by some other members will be recruited for this again. Okay, now we see that for different states we have assemblies, legislative assemblies. Who are the members called elected for legislative assemblies? They are, yeah, very good, MLS. They are what called? MLS, member of legislative assembly, isn't it? And we find in local level we have different bodies, different governments, like in towns we have municipalities and municipal corporations, and village levels what we have, yeah, very good, panchayatis. So for these also the elections which are held for these are what actually called direct elections. Now we see that indirect election. So what is it actually? Indirect election, you find here president election and vice president election. Why? Because these people are not directly elected by the people, public. President, for example, if we take the President of India, he is elected by the members of all the state assemblies and the members of parliament, upper house and lower house. That means in this election process of president, people are not directly participating. That's why it's what called indirect election. Even the vice president of India, how does he elected? You know that he is being elected by the members of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. That means here the voter is not directly participating in the process of election. So here who are they actually playing in major role in electing these people? The members. That means the voter is not directly participating in electing president and vice president of India. That's why it's called indirect election. Okay, now we see children here the conduct of elections by this Election Commission of India. You see that we have discussed now that it's an independent authority. You see that the Election Commission of India, which can take the responsibility of conducting elections for major political positions, like you see that the President of India, Vice President of India, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha members, and for state legislative assembly and legislative councils. So these are what the major positions, political positions of our country. For this Central Election Commission of India will take the responsibility. Then what is the State Election Commission of India will take the responsibility? It will conduct the elections for local bodies like municipalities, municipal corporations, municipal council in towns, and village panchayatis in villages. Okay, now children, we have already discussed, see, being the largest democratic nation of our country, that people cannot rule themselves because we are the huge populated country. So how do we actually do formation of government in democracy in India? We have representatives. That's why it is also called a representative government. So we elect our representatives. So these representatives, what do? Actually, they form as a group with common ideas, common interest, common ideology, and to acquire the power. So they form as a group. That is what called political party. So we have different political parties in our country which follow different ideology and different interests they may be having, isn't it? And they try to acquire power by participating in elections. Okay, you see that these are what the political parties we find in our country. We have different political parties. Okay children, this is the homework for you. You have to find out the symbols of different political parties. Here you see that different symbols are given, isn't it? You have to find out the names of the political parties of these symbols. Okay, find out them. Now we see that how these political parties have been given recognition, that is what identification. So political parties, how we find here different states have different political parties and national level parties also we have. So state level parties are what actually called regional parties. National level parties are what called national parties. how do they get this status or recognition? You see that here, regional party, in order to get the status of regional party, that they should have to get at least 3% of total polled votes in elections, or at least they have to won 3 assembly seats. This is the condition to become a political party, regional political party. They should have to get the share 3% of votes, or otherwise they have to win 3 assembly seats in elections, state assembly elections. Whereas in order to become the national party, what is the condition? 6% of total votes have to be what actually the party has to win, or otherwise at least 11 Lok Sabha seats in 4 states, not in a single state. In 4 states they have to win the elections, seats, Lok Sabha seats. Okay, these are the conditions to become a regional party or national party. Now we children, you find out what are the different types of elections have been held in our country. You see that elections, maybe we have the elections, 3 categories of major types of elections are being held in our country. Mostly the term is about 5 years only, mostly, except some of the upper houses like in parliament 6 years, but remaining all mostly 5 years only. So what are they? We find the types of elections, 3 types. The first one is what actually here given, general election. First one is what called general election. The second one is what called midterm election, and the third one by-election. Okay, you have to know the meanings of these words. General election may be held for 5 years term. So after completing of 5 years of term for any political post or position, so we find from panchayati level or assembly or for parliament, Lok Sabha. So after completion of 5 years, throughout the country they do held the elections. And second thing is what you find, midterm election. What do you mean by midterm election? So if a government loses its majority, that means magic number. You see that in order to win the what you find game cricket, we know that if first team which scores about, for example, if you take 250 runs, the second team has to score what, more than 250, that is what 251, isn't like that? Similarly here also the magic figure is what actually the seats here, as we discussed, 543, for example, for Lok Sabha 543. So how many seats they have to win to form a government? 273, because of 240, 500, 250, 43 means what actually 22, 272 plus 1, 273 seats they have to win in elections. If that party, if any party doesn't get a majority, that they may form the government with the support of different parties. And if they could not able to continue 5 years term, and because of the what we find here, losing of majority, even before the 5 years also, that they have to conduct the election. That is what called midterm election. Then what do you mean by by-election? You see that during 5 years of term, some candidates, due to some reasons, they may resign for their post, and some may die here. For that reason, they have to conduct elections for few seats, few vacancy seats for anything, for even for assembly or for parliament, they have to conduct elections. That election is what called by-election. Did you understand, children? Okay, then we know that party candidates, who are the party candidates, they may belong to different parties. Then you may hear about independent candidates. Independent candidates who are contesting in elections don't belong to any party. They are what called independent candidates. Then we see that the political parties, they may declare their manifesto before the elections. What do you mean by manifesto? Manifesto is nothing but a document of promises. They make some promises to public to get power. So that kind of document of promises is what called manifesto. Okay, children, you have to go through all these words, you have to learn these terminological words. Next, you see that you may find some code of conduct. Election Commission issues code of conduct before the elections that every candidate, every political party has to follow. This is what called code of conduct. If they doesn't obey the code of conduct, they may be punishable and they may be declared disqualified in contesting elections. Okay. Next, as we already gone through this one, process of election, how this process of election is being done. Here you see that before elections, first the election commission will release the schedule for notification. Second thing is what actually they receive the nominations from the candidates. And next thing, third one is what? They scrutinize. That means they find out whether the candidate is eligible or not for contesting in elections. And the candidates are also given opportunity or time to withdraw their nominations also. If they don't want to contest in elections, they can withdraw in the before declaration of candidates. Okay. And fifth one is what we find, conducting polling, that is what elections. And for conducting finally, after withdrawal of the nominations by the candidates, they will prepare a final list of all the contesting candidates. And for elections of like parliament or assembly, they what actually prepare EVMs. What do you mean by EVMs, you know, children? Electronic voting machine. Now because of what reason we are using these machines? Because in India it's not possible to what actually conduct elections because of huge population. That largest democracy we discussed now, it's a very hectic task for election commission to conduct elections. For that reason, what is that they are doing here? They have find out some alternate methods, EVMs, electronic voting machines, which are very useful and very easy method to conduct elections in our country. So EVMs will be prepared by them, and they will employ the polling officers, because it's a huge process of conducting elections, no? So we need a large number of officers who have to be given training about EVMs functioning and all, how to conduct elections and all. Okay. And next, finally the conducting of polling, and finally what they have been sent for counting. So counting is nothing but what, how many votes have been casted for different candidate, and finally the candidate who gets more number of votes will be declared as a winning candidate, and that is what result announcement. And finally the party which gets majority seats, that as we discussed, no more than half, will have the right to form a government. This is the process of election. Okay. See, as we already discussed here, you see that different levels of officers. ECA, as we discussed now, Election Commission of India, CEO. We see that Chief Election Officers. Next, DEO at district level. Next we find ARO, and in village level BLO. ERO and AERO we find in mandal level. So these are what the structure of different levels. So one team, one goal here. So their goal is what actually to conduct elections in a fair and smooth manner. That's what, one team. All these people have to work as a team in conducting elections. Okay. You see that here, as we discussed, the National Voters Day we celebrate on 25th January every year. You see that the first picture you can see the voter list, which is known as, what is it also called, you children, you know? That's what also called, it is also what called electoral roll, this one. Okay, you see that how to use voting machine, you see that second picture, and it is our responsibility to use right to vote. So that's why we celebrate National Voters Day. And the fourth picture, what we can see that identification, voter card, voter ID card. So every voter will be issued an ID card with their photo. While casting their vote, they should have to carry this voter card. Okay, you see children, these are the pictures related to the elections which have been held in different levels. You see that the first picture, it shows about the main center where the officers gather all the electronic voting machine. You see that the electronic voting machines, we have three major things. CU, what do you mean by, here CU means control unit. Next, VVPAT. Now this is the recent one which is introduced here in recent elections, VVPAT, that voters can get a slip printing that voters verified. We find here printed audit trail, which is what actually they get like in a ATM mission, how we get printing that to whom they have cast the vote, that they will get a slip. That is what called VVPAT through this. And this is what actually ballot EVM, ballot unit. So here only that the voters can press the button against the what you find the symbol to whom they like to cast. Here you see that this is given here in this third picture. So if they don't like to, recently we find another one included here, nota. None of we find here none of the candidates, if they don't like any candidate, they can use the nota also. And this is what the symbol of a ECI symbol you find Election Commission of India. Okay, children, you see that we have discussed here in district level we have DEO, who is the responsibility of conducting elections. Mostly collectors may be, district collector may be the DEO, district election officer. Under his control you find different levels of officers may work in booth level. You find a presiding officer, PO is called PO, and under his control you find at booth level to conduct elections we find APO, assistant polling officer, other polling officer 1, 2 and 3. These may work here at booth level to conduct elections in a fair and smooth manner. You see that here the process how it does take place in a booth. You see that first voter has to approach PO, who's called PO, presiding officer. What does he do here? He supervises that the whole process of election which is taking place in the booth. Next, the voter may approach the first APO, assistant polling officer. He identifies the voter with his voters list, who have to carry some identity card, voter identity card, or otherwise somewhat 18 other cards which have been given in the list of election commission, like a bank passbook or driving license and some other. Okay, and next after that whom they approach second polling officer, OPO1. What does he do here? He applies indelible ink, which is what actually for their forefinger. Mostly you find left or right, you find here index finger. Okay, after that he will issue the ballot paper, and then he will go to the next polling officer, second polling officer, other polling officer. What does he do? He give a symbol which is what actually called swastik. You know children, swastik symbol, it looks like a plus symbol like this. There is a symbol we find they use here for casting their vote. And otherwise if they are using EVM, he will switch on the CU, as we see now, control unit. He switch on the button and simply the voter can go into the compartment and he can cast the vote in a secret manner. He should not reveal that whom did he vote. Okay, and finally you see children here how that huge gathering of officers you can observe during the polling time. You see that here different pictures of that voters, how they are standing in the line queue, and you can see that some of the voters are showing their ID cards also. Here you see this is what actually polling booth. You see that how that officers are sitting here, polling officers, and you see that this is the compartment, chamber, secret chamber, where they have to go and cast their vote. Okay children, see this is what indelible ink you can see here, and there what actually is your left hand index finger. So this is indelible ink which can be manufactured, which is being manufactured in Hyderabad and Mysore, which is used by Election Commission during the time of elections. Okay, and you see children here in our elections, though we are the largest democracy, we all know that people have the right to choose their leaders here. But we have some challenges also. Challenges. What are they? You find caste. Caste plays major role here in our country, and husband's influence while casting their vote, and we find here owner's influence if they are tenants, and preaching basing on religion and basing on other aspects. We find money, even you see that money can also play a major role, and liquor finally, gifts. So these are what actually challenges for election commission in making a election successful in a smooth and fair manner, because all these things may influence the voters during the time of elections. Okay, so in order to conduct free and fair manner of elections, what is that we have to take here responsibility? Who are the responsible persons? First thing is what? Voters themselves, because if the voters elect the right person, we can form a good government. That's what voters should have the awareness. They should have to enroll as a voter who have completed 18 years of age, and they have to exercise their right. They have to choose their right candidate. They should not go under the influence of any person. And political parties, what is the responsibility of political parties here? The political parties have to select the right candidate, good candidate, and they have to contest in elections in a honest manner, smooth manner. So that is why elections can be successful in a free and fair manner. Okay, children, that you all know that you can also have a election in your school. Can you do this one? Mock poll. You do this one mock poll in our school, and elect your school people leader, SPL, and class leader, CPL, class people leader. You can elect. Can you exercise this one? It's a very interesting process. You ask your teacher, and you can have this mock poll also in your school. Okay, children, finally we are going to have question time. When do we celebrate our National Voters Day? Can you tell the answer? Yeah, very good. It's January 25th. Very good. Next one. Who is the present Chief Election Commissioner of India? Can you tell, children? You have seen no picture? Yeah, very good. What is his name? Sri Sushil Chandra. Okay, children? Yeah, you go through the textbook and read once again, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Thank you, children. So, vote for better India. Choose a right candidate and have a bright future for India. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.